to give us what we need. Hey!
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power!
Hey Zoe, I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light, see the light.
Hey guys, it's Tamara. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the differences between three terms that a lot of people get confused, and they actually use these three terms interchangeably. And I think there's a huge misunderstanding between three very popular and overused terms, and that is codependency, traumatic bonding, and enmeshment. Unfortunately, pop psychology has become so available to society that I will get a host of emails and consultees that come in, individuals that consult with me, or I'll just talk to a lay person and, outside of my field, of course, and they will say things like, I think I'm enmeshed, or I think I'm codependent, or I think I'm trauma bonded. And, there's differences between the terms, and I want to make sure that I give you guys that knowledge so you'll be aware of the differences. I think that there's a lot of people who believe that they're codependent when they really are traumatically bonded to somebody instead because of a trauma history. They're not always necessarily codependent or enmeshed, as we put it. So today we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to separate the two, and I'll mention a couple example stories. So thank you so much for coming back to my channel. For those who are subscribed and for those who are new, I encourage you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button right over here. Stick around with us. I welcome you every week, and actually Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays I'll welcome you on my videos. If you're new to the community, welcome. I think it's going to be an educational community for you, and if you have ideas for me, go ahead and send them along, because I like to get your ideas, and I like like to actually do videos and give you what you're asking for. So go ahead and subscribe. I welcome you. The benefits for you in today's video is that we're going to talk about the differences, again, the differences between enmeshment and traumatic bonding and codependency. So let's just go ahead and jump in. I'm going to define them for you first. I'll give you examples, and then I'll show you the differences. All right. So codependency, we all know that codependency is basically, it's an excessive need for a person, right? It's an excessive emotional and psychological need for the other person to be present in your life. It is also a reciprocal emotional interaction between two people, right? The two individuals are both codependent, or the two individuals have emotional needs, and they fill those emotional needs for each other. The sad part is if the individuals become too close, right, then the codependent partner or spouse in the relationship is going to lose their autonomy. They're also going to lose their independence, and they're also going to find it really hard to make decisions on their own. They always have to have the other person. Think of codependence as a disability, right? What happens is when you become codependent, you rely on the other person in the relationship to do the thinking, to do the cooking, to do the working, to do the management of things, right? To pick up the slack. And what you tend to do, or the individual who's codependent, is you kind of step back out of the situation and you let the other person take the lead. Well, individuals who are codependent who do that, they end up losing their ability to function on their own. So they lose their basic skills. They also lose their cognitive skills because they begin to think and feel like the person they're codependent with. So codependency really is like swallowing a poisonous pill and becoming a totally different person emotionally and psychologically, because you've kind of sold your soul, right? You've given the other person access to the most intimate parts of who you are as a person, and now you can't get out because you're so interwoven, if I'm saying that correctly, right? You're so interconnected. So that's codependency. It's really having an excessive emotional, psychological need for somebody, and you need them to help you. You need them to feel good. You need them to think straight. You need them to do things for you, right? It's not, I want you in my life because I love you. It's, I need you in my life because I'm dependent. Okay, so that's codependency. I think it's really important to keep in mind that codependency doesn't always equal love. I think a lot of people think that, if I'm codependent or if I'm dependent on this person, I must be in love, or I must love my mother, or I must love my husband, or I must love my brother, my family. And that's not always the case. I think there's a clear difference between codependency and love. It just takes a keen eye to see those differences. All right. The next one is traumatic bonding. So I'm an internationally certified trauma therapist. So I have a lot of experience working with individuals in the nation and overseas who are dealing with traumatic bonding and who are looking for experts or specialists to talk to them about it. Traumatic bonding is the whole idea that you become almost lost and confused between the good and the evil side of an abusive person, or of a person who is unhealthy or toxic. So, there's an interplay between the good and the evil, or the good or the bad side of the person. So you kind of get lost in the shuffle. The individual who is unhealthy, toxic, emotionally unstable, enmeshed with you, whatever the case may be, they're going to be good sometimes, but they're also going to be bad sometimes as well. So you begin to develop almost this inability to look at the bad person because you're so zoned in and you're so pulled into the good parts of that person. I'm sure you've seen this in domestic violence relationships or situations where the abused spouse says, he didn't mean it. He snaps out every now and then, but we bounce back. We always do, right? That's kind of minimizing it, and that's kind of zoning in on the good side of the person, and you're ignoring the bad side of the person. So traumatic bonding is getting stuck between those two areas, the good and the bad of the person, and you cling to the good as opposed to the bad. And so then you begin to stand up for the individual. You begin to make excuses, minimize. You begin to stonewall and not talk about things. You begin to close up and clam up and shut down in order to still have that relationship, even though it's not healthy. And a lot of people do that in family.
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason back in the building with another slapper. This is a tough one. Karmic enmeshment Cycles, a deeper look at how trauma bonds destroy your personhood. Eesh. Enmeshment, it refers to relationships that have become so intertwined that boundaries are non-existent or identical. While this concept most often occurs between a primary caregiver and their child, it can also happen in romantic relationships. Although enmeshment can initially lessen worries around abandonment and rejection, ongoing enmeshment can lead to resentment and low relationship satisfaction. This is deep. This is heavy. This is what I need you guys to understand. Let me ask the questions first. You already know what this is. This is a non-judgmental space where everybody could call in and share their opinions. Opinions on what? On relationship. Why is it important that we talk about relationships every day? Because relationships are ubiquitous, especially with regards to the human condition, right? Every aspect of our life is touched by relationships, and the quality of our relationships dictate the quality of our lives. You have poor relationships, you're going to have a poor life. And really, in order to work together, in order to have a team, a high-level team, a team that accomplishes things, a team that is there for mental support, emotional support, physical support, there has to be some type of rapport. And relationships allows us to not only build rapport with each other, but serving as a spiritual mirror allows us to build a better rapport with our primary relationship, which is the relationship with self. So tonight's topic is very important because oftentimes we bond, we bond with the lowest level of each other. That's typically where the bond is, right? When you reach higher levels of consciousness, you will understand that nothing belongs to your ass anyway. Uh-oh. What? Yeah, this person doesn't belong to you. So there's no need for bonding. It is your wound that needs a spiritual and relational adhesive. Your wound needs to be held all the time. Your wound needs to be reassured and acknowledged and appreciated. It is your wound that requires supply, acknowledgement, approval, acceptance. That's and this is where we bond at, right? We bond on these levels. Karmic. What is the karmic piece? Well, you hear in the spiritual realm when, that's a karmic relationship. In other words, it's a problematic relationship where you're supposed to learn some kind of lesson, right? I would just say karmic is just the New Agers' way of saying generational curses. Relationships are designed to expose generational curses, right? And the exposure of a generational curse really is supposed to get your attention because that is your spiritual homework. I know you may have homework in school. I know you may have duties and things at work, but you also have spiritual responsibilities. And relationships bring those spiritual responsibilities to light. So karmic enmeshment. Cycles, right? Why is it a cycle? Because the last time you went through it, you didn't see it as a spiritual lesson. All you saw it as was an irritant, something you needed to get away from. And when you get away from the lesson, all you do is delay the lesson. Somebody meme it. I want to see that on Instagram. If you try to get away from the lesson, all you do is delay the lesson, right? Lessons are designed for confrontation. But here's the cold part. Non-judgmental confrontation. Objective. Why are you here? what is your purpose in my life? Why do you follow me from relationship to relationship? What do you have to teach me? What am I missing with regards to your presence in my last few relationships? What if you could sit down and have that kind of conversation with a generational curse? Do cycles of karmic relationships present an opportunity to heal from generational curses? What connections can be drawn between trauma bonds, enmeshment, and self-sovereignty? Ooh, Lord, I know y'all not ready for that. What effects does enmeshment have on an individual's ability to authentically relate to others? And are these effects a direct result of the individual's fractured connection to their sense of self? 1-800-920-1580. How does one know if they are experiencing karmic cycles? I keep repeating the same thing, Well, how do I know that, right? Brought on by enmeshment. What are some examples of connections plagued by poor boundaries that result in trauma bonding? True or false? A trauma bond is fortified by enmeshment and thrives on the illusion of understanding and common ground. 1-800-920-1580. Get to your phone lines. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Is it possible for individuals to break free from trauma bonds and enmeshment cycles without external intervention or support? Or is professional help necessary in order to heal from these disruptive and destructive patterns? Here we go. When I come forward, you already know what the voice of reason is going to do. I'm going to open up the phone lines. 1-800-920-1580. Get ready, get ready, get ready. I'll be talking to you in a sec.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. Just a few short months ago, California Attorney General Rob Bonta filed 11 felony charges against Diana Turan, an assistant district attorney for Los Angeles County. The charges allege that Turan unlawfully accessed confidential computer data, including police officer files in 2018, and continued to use them after joining the DA's office in 2021. Ironically, Turan, who is now on administrative leave, oversaw the Public Integrity Division, responsible for handling high-profile cases of police misconduct and public corruption, including the charges brought against LA City Council member Karen Price last June. To be sure, the case against Price has raised plenty of eyebrows. Indeed, one noted legal scholar has said publicly, and I quote, "Everything about this prosecution reeks," close quote. Could AG Bonta, with aspirations to become California governor, be punishing Turan for her role in DA George Gascon's police accountability agenda to curry favor with police unions? Could DA Gascon be using the case against Price to showcase his tough stance on crime and political corruption as he vies to retain his seat as DA? Honestly, I have no idea, but here's what I know for sure. Karen Price has been elected and re-elected by thousands of voters, mostly black and brown, who stand to be further disenfranchised if this matter is not handled correctly, which is why it matters to us at KBLA Talk 1580. When the prosecutor is being prosecuted, it seems to me that at the very least, there ought to be a thorough, top-to-bottom, independent review of all cases under Diana Turan's purview to ensure that none of these cases have been tainted. Justice and fundamental fairness demand no less, if public trust truly matters. And I hope it does. For KBLA Talk 1580, I'm Tavis Smiley. We welcome your feedback.
Helping to broaden your political and moral imagination with our 2024 Climate Justice Campaign. We're KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. Pro Football Hall of Famer and urban peace pioneer Jim Brown believed in just that. So he founded the Amera I Can Foundation for Social Change in 1988, focusing on at-risk and high-risk youth in underserved schools and juvenile detention facilities, as well as adult incarceration and reentry initiatives. The core of the Amera I Can program is its 15-chapter life skills curriculum. Mastery of these skills allows individuals to meet their academic potential, conform their behavior to acceptable societal standards, and improve the quality of their lives by equipping them with what they need to confidently and successfully contribute to society. Today, the foundation is led by its president, Monique Brown, who has been actively involved in the organization for more than 25 years. The Amera I Can Foundation continues its work in memory of its founder, actor, philanthropist, and NFL legend Jim Brown. To get involved or make a donation, please visit AmeriICanCommunity.partners. That's AmeriICanCommunity.partners. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
The boy is mine, the boy is mine, the boy is mine, the boy is mine, the boy is mine.
Excuse me, can I please talk to you for a minute? Sure, you look kind of familiar. Yeah, you do too. But I just wanted to know, do you know somebody named... You know his name. Oh yeah, definitely. I know his name. But I just want to let you know that he's mine. No, he's mine.
So what I would say is the worst result that comes out of complex trauma is how it changes your self-identity. So a child that's loved and accepted is a positive self-identity. I have value. I have something to offer to the world. A child with complex trauma that's felt neglected, it's my fault, I must not be good enough, they have a negative self-identity.
Wait, pause that. And I want to play it one more time. The reason why that's important, I got to hear that one more time. And the reason why I think it's important, I think the fundamental attribution error is more prevalent than we are willing to acknowledge. The fundamental attribution error is when you attribute, negative descriptors or framing of a situation because you don't have a direct experience of it. So somebody cheats on you. Oh, he's a cheater. He's no good. Somebody lies to you. Oh, he's a damn liar. He's no good. He's worthless, right? Or she's worthless or whatever. And oftentimes we don't know what their attachment style is. We don't know what their early childhood was like. We don't know what they've been through. All we know is I didn't sign up for this, or what I signed up for, I'm not getting. So the fundamental attribution error works like this. Imagine we're in a car, we're driving, and somebody swoops in front of us and almost crashes into us. And you've seen it happen before if you've experienced this before. You might yell out racial epithets, right? You might yell out, these fools can't drive. You might go crazy. But if you understood what was happening in their car, you might have a different level of understanding, a different level of empathy, right? Say it's a guy and, he has a cup of coffee and his wife is in the back seat and she's pregnant and he's driving crazy to get her to the hospital. He drops the cup of coffee on his lap, or he's on the phone and he doesn't have it hooked up to the Bluetooth, and he's trying to put it on speakerphone. He drops the phone. Anything could happen. But because we don't know everything that's going on, we will apply, certain attributes. And usually those attributes are negative. The fundamental attribution error. And the reason why I say I wanted to play that clip one more time is because this guy is breaking down something that many people may have gone through, but in our assessment of these people after they may have hurt us in some capacity, we label them as no good and shiftless and lacking morals and integrity. Like we really, really pin them down because they didn't show up for us in the way that we desired. Play that clip one more time.
So what I would say is the worst result that comes out of complex trauma is how it changes your self-identity. So a child that's loved and accepted is a positive self-identity. I have value. I have something to offer to the world. A child with complex trauma that's felt neglected, it's my fault, I must not be good enough, they have a negative self-identity.
A negative self-identity because they didn't get it in childhood. Complex trauma, right? If you don't understand that and they let you down in some way, cheat on you, betray you, lie to you, you're automatically going to condemn them. At the end of the day, I get it. Hurt is hurt. But remember, hurt people hurt people. And at the same time, we are all victims of victims. Nobody wants to see the correlation between, hey, it's two human beings. Just because one flawed human being hurt another, that doesn't mean if given the opportunity, the same person who was hurt won't turn around and hurt that person back. Listen, get back is for real in relationships. Listen, when we come forward, the voice of reason, I'm going to go to the phone lines. The phone lines are jammed up right now. I'm going to go to the phone lines. I really want to talk to you guys about this because this enmeshment, this trauma bonding, it's a real situation. When we come forward, the voice of reason goes to the phone lines.
He's on fire tonight. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. A report says Barack Obama is telling his allies President Biden needs to seriously consider the viability of his candidacy. The Washington Post says the former black president has told associates Biden's path to victory has significantly decreased. The Post adds Obama has been working behind the scenes, taking calls from Democrats who feel anxious about Biden's future, including one with former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Obama has significant influence in the Democratic Party. Nearly 2 in 3 black women are behind President Biden. A new survey from The Cut shows that 64% of black women say they'd vote for the Biden-Harris ticket if the election were today. It's a demographic crucial for Biden to win to stay in the White House. The poll was taken in early June before the Biden-Trump debate and before former President Trump's assassination attempt. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Spectacular savings are happening now at Mattress Firm's July 4th sale. You can get a Sleepy's Queen mattress for just $89.99, the lowest price ever. Upgrade, save, and celebrate before it's too late. Offer ends Tuesday. In-store only while supplies last. Restrictions apply.
Yeah, y'all, come on. Here come the drums.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, got to give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey!
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power!
To help combat climate change, LADWP is helping neighborhoods have better access to electric vehicles by awarding nearly $130 million in EV rebates to customers just like you. From big savings on used EVs to building new charging plazas, LADWP is charging ahead to help all Angelinos experience the benefits of EVs. Get rebates of up to $4,000 for a used EV and $1,750 for a charger. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV.
Looks like Bobby needs a ride again.
Grab the keys. Let's take our auntie to the swap meet. Grab the keys.
Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, do it all in a Chevy SUV. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Malibu, Colorado, Blazer, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Traverse limited models. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $2,860 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 15.8% plus finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 7/1/24.
Hey, LA residents, it's planting season and the perfect time to get shade trees growing around your home. LADWP and City Plants are giving every resident up to 7 free trees. That's right, 7 free trees delivered right to your door. Trees are great for the environment, help improve air quality, and can help you save on your bill when you use less air conditioning to stay cool indoors. Learn more at ladwp.com/free trees. That's ladwp.com/free trees.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007, they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Know if I could be the kind of girl
that's the parent who just praises their child and spoils the hell out of them, or the parent who says, you're not a bother, you're such a good kid. There's an underlying bind each child is placed in. You better not have needs and wants because I can't fulfill them. You need to be perfect so that I feel okay as your parent. Also, I can parade you around my friends as what a great parent I am. These are the underlying subconscious things at play because our parents in these situations are so broken emotionally and they don't know it because as society, we won't talk about this stuff or teach it. It's not to blame. My dad's not to blame.
Wow. The concept of enmeshment, as described by the Attachment Project, highlights the detrimental effects of relationships that lack boundaries and individual autonomy. Enmeshment often begins in the primary caregiver-child relationship, but can also manifest in romantic relationships, leading to resentment and dissatisfaction over time. This lack of boundaries can pave the way for trauma bonding, a phenomenon in which a deep emotional connection is formed with someone who has inflicted self-harm, creating a cycle of abuse and reinforcement. The connection between trauma bonds, enmeshment, and self-sovereignty is a complex one. Enmeshment can erode an individual's sense of self and autonomy. Let me stop right there. At the end of the day, the highest level of love is unconditional. Right? A synonym for unconditional, you could argue, is freedom. I'm unconditionally free. Free to be me, as I am, human, flawed. But in relationships, because of that critical parent-child relationship, if that relationship doesn't go off without a hitch, whatever glitch you modeled in childhood, you carry the glitch into your adult relationship for repair, for spiritual reparation. Your adult relationship is the hospital for your child-parent relationship. I know people don't understand it and don't want to hear it put that way, but that's what it is, right? Emotional enmeshment is a type of unhealthy emotional control that can occur in family relationships. It's characterized by a lack of boundaries, blurred roles and expectations. Oh, my son serves as the man of the house. Emotional enmeshment. Now, hey, hold on. Just because dad isn't there doesn't mean he's diet dad. He takes on the road of pseudo dad. No, he's son. He's child. He is not. You understand what I'm saying? It is characterized by a lack of boundaries, blurred roles and expectations, and an inability for family members to be emotionally independent. Nah, we got to think the same way. Wrong. Trauma bonding is a little different, right? This is heavy stuff. I don't know. That was emotional enmeshment, but trauma bonding. Trauma bond is an intense emotional connection that can develop between people who experience a traumatic event together. It can also occur when someone feels a connection to their abuser based on the abuse they've experienced. Trauma bonding can be a natural response to trauma and can have both positive and negative effects. I will say this as well. I don't think it's just this camaraderie that is felt, this weird camaraderie that is felt in a traumatic experience that is experienced together. I also believe trauma bonding can extend outward. We may have similar trauma, similar wounds, and those wounds find companionship within each other. That's a spiritual take on it. And then with the codependence, what you're going to see in those type of relationships, again, is a lack of boundaries, Codependent people second guess themselves. They have this undying need for approval from their partner. They fear abandonment. They desire to take care of others. They're always avoiding conflict. They have low self-esteem. They have trouble making decisions. And they're really good at ignoring their own needs. There's self-neglect. There's a lack of really good communication skills. And they're always in a relationship that feels like it's not going anywhere, right? They have trouble identifying their own emotions. There's a desire to be needed. There's difficulty dealing with change. They have intimacy issues, feelings of loneliness and jealousy, enabling behavior. It goes on and on and on and on. Does this sound familiar? According to Buddhism, attachment is a primary cause of human suffering. The Sanskrit term is dukkha. In particular, the Buddha taught that attachment to desire is the root of suffering, and that it's not the desire itself, but the tendency to cling to it that causes distress. Attachment can also refer to clinging to people, objects, ideas, and experiences, right? Things I like to call the living noun. Person, places, and things. The living noun, right? You put so much pressure on your partner when you want them to be a living noun. I want to go places with you. I want to get things with you. Person, places, and things, right? Where are we going? We traveling? What we doing? The living noun, right? We get attached to that, right? And we think that brings happiness, right? From an external space. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. Many of our relationships are rooted in dukkha. We plant the seed of dukkha during good times. But when the harvest of dukkha shows up, what is dukkha for the Sanskrit? Dukkha is dissatisfaction, unhappiness, frustration. We plant the seed of dissatisfaction, frustration, unhappiness during good times. I know y'all not ready for what Zoe is laying down tonight, but we gonna get it right. I got callers calling in from all over the world. We're about to get them in here in 2.2 seconds. When I come forward, I'm going to Detroit and Hawaii. Get to your phone lines right now, 1-800-920-1580.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
Hi, it's me, Gia Peppers. Tune in to More Than That live on radio this weekend or wherever you get your podcasts. This week, I'm talking to visual artist Reina Noriega about investing in art, the power of the Black creative, and how artists can turn their creativity into capital. This episode of More Than That is brought to you by Buick, combining beauty and technology to deliver luxurious experiences. Buick, exceptional by design.
At the very root of it all, we are storytellers. It's so important for our voices to be heard, not only as Black artists, but as Black curators and as Black collectors and as Black museum and gallery owners.
I love it.
There are now a lot of people of color that are creating events that welcome the community and welcome diversity. But there still are some of these older galleries that have a certain mindset and run a certain way. When we have some stake in making these decisions, we can push for change for more Black women artists. As a culture, that makes us so much stronger.
How do you recommend that people really stand out in this landscape and get their stuff in front of the right investors?
My advice is always to go within first, to figure out who you are, what your purpose is, what your passion is, so that you can speak about those things confidently and passionately, and it will resonate with people. While I was going on my own inner journey, I also started to realize that I needed to do things for me and not for external validation. And when I did that, it had a huge impact and people definitely resonated with that.
That's really good.
But I think people have to be really disciplined. They have to be open to learning more skills. They have to be open to putting themselves out there, to networking, making sure people know what it is that you do and what it is that you want to do so that they can recommend you for things. They will hear you. They will champion you. They will celebrate you. And that will make waves.
Around here, we don't believe in victimhood. We believe in raising our voices, amplifying black voices in the climate conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
You know you want some more. More. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Therapy. We are so excited to be with you. We are your hosts, Scott and Vanessa Martindale, counselors, married 10 years, BFFs.
Yes.
Just all around. We love working in ministry and doing therapy. It's going to be a great day.
Yes.
Today we're going to talk about enmeshment and emotional incest, which sounds really bad. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
These words are not like warm words, but I think in blended families and in relationships, we deal with this and we understand this from a perspective of, how our priorities are, what we do with our time, and how those relationships look. So let's dive into enmeshment. So in the weeks before, we've done some podcasts on this, and we've talked about just unhealthy enmeshment. We've seen how it affects blended families and it affects marriages. So Vanessa, tell us a little bit about enmeshment and kind of what is that?
Yeah, so the definition that I have that comes from the American Psychological Association of enmeshment, it's a condition in which two or more people, typically family members, are involved in each other's activities and personal relationships to an excessive degree. And so it's typically where you see for instance, and we see this a lot in blended families where you have like a mother and son relationship. Maybe the mom's, maybe the spouse passes away. So then the son gets elevated into a position where he's kind of like the caretaker and kind of like the husband, so to speak. And that's where it crosses the line of emotional incest, which is what we're also going to be speaking in today, because they both really kind of intertwine together.
Yeah. you know, you think of this term like mama's boy or daddy's girl, and but as these people become married and now we are detaching and forming our own family, we see this enmeshment when it comes to how we make decisions. Who's influencing our marriage and our family? How are we making decisions for our kids? And I've seen it when I counsel couples, and you know, maybe the wife is saying, "Hey, I feel like his mother is right in our marriage. Like there's an enmeshment of decision making that we're not making decisions together. It's like his mother's making that." Or in blended families, we see this a little bit in co-parenting, where maybe the other co-parent spouse is influencing or enmeshing themselves into their new marriage, and making and helping influence decisions.
Yeah, and you know, typically enmeshment involves some type of trauma or illness in the family. So, you know, it can be the death and loss, like we talked about, that loss, abuse, or violence that makes a person in the family cling to another excessively. It could also be like maybe someone in your family having an addiction or mental illness that makes another family member emotionally, you know, it makes them emotionally dependent on their child.
I hope you guys understand what we're describing here. Codependence, emotional enmeshment, trauma bonding, and the 3 different definitions we gave for them earlier in the show. It's really relationship prison. It's doing life in relationships. Relationship as supermax. That's what this is. Real love is synonymous with freedom. You can't have real love unless you are 100% free to be yourself, free to express yourself, free to go into yourself alone. Do you understand? Free. Unconditional love. A synonym for unconditional is freedom. The highest level of unconditional love, right? That's the highest form of love, unconditional love. But you can't reach it unless you're unconditionally you. Do you see? You cannot have these enmeshed relationships that are toxic at the base dictating your level of comfort with being, number one, yourself, and then being with your partner. Krishnamurti put it this way: love is not desire. It is a great thing to find out this for oneself. And if love is not desire, then what is love? Love is not mere attachment to your body. Love is not attachment in any form. Love is not jealousy, ambition, fulfillment, or becoming. Love is not desire or pleasure. The fulfillment of desire, which is pleasure, is not love. So I have found out what love is. It is none of these things. Have I understood these elements, and am I free of them? Or I just say I understand intellectually, I understand verbally. But help me to go deeper. I can't. You have to do it for yourself. In other words, in order to love another unconditionally, you must first disconnect from codependency. You must first disconnect from trauma bonds. You must first disconnect from emotional enmeshment. You have to disconnect from the desire to want to be what they said you were supposed to be. Do you see how knowledge of self is intricately tied to love? Well, we got callers on the line. Let's get them. Let's get them. Kenny from Detroit. Kenny, what up?
What up, baby?
Hey,
How
man.
you doing?
What up, though? What's your thoughts on tonight's topic, my friend?
Man, you hitting all the points, man. You taking all the words out of my mouth.
Well, go ahead, man. Tell me about it.
Man, listen. I think unconditional love, you hitting it on the nail, the nail on the head. You got to have that unconditional love. You got to have that. But you got to be bred with it. I'm that guy. I'm that one. Because I know I'm bred with it. When you speak how you speak, you're talking to me. I'll be like, okay, yeah, it gotta be me. Because through everything, I'm still standing tall and I'm still, loyal to the game. You see everybody unwavering around you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm standing tall. Like, people ready to give up, give in. I'm in there for the long haul. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But whatever relationships. I see it in my family relationships. I see it in my personal relationships, intimate relationships. People be so quick to let go. Because like you said, I feel like you have to address the situation. These trauma bonds that we get connected with, I think it's just real talk. We're weak.
No, you just touched on something real. You just touched on something real big. You said, you just said something real. It sparked something. You said we just want to let go. Is that what you said?
Absolutely.
Do you know we live in a society that is so toxic that letting go, listen to what I'm about to say, letting go is another form of escapism. See, because if I let something go without first examining it objectively, without first looking how it ties into me, right? Maybe my childhood upbringing. See, it's easy to let something go without investigation.
Facts.
Right? So, this is the source of the problem? Let it go. Do you see what I'm saying? Letting go is another form of discard. Don't discard until you understand. Right?
Absolutely.
They say, understand what? How what you're discarding is a mirror of something in you. See, that's when you let go. Once you realize, hey, there's an aspect of me that relates to what I'm trying to release. And I can't really release it for good until I've understood the aspect that mirrors me. Like, I do this. I co-created this. I called this in. Does that make sense, brother?
Oh, for sure. We gotta grow some. We gotta grow some in our culture. We all raised like that, man. I'm raised from a single mom, and I struggle with the anxious, preoccupied because my father wasn't there like he was supposed to be. You know what I mean? My mom's trying to carry both loads. So I don't blame my mom. You know what I'm saying? Although, I didn't get a lot from her, but when she passed away, before she passed away, she stepped up and she worked that out. But man, we just gotta grow up, man. We gotta realize the reality that we live in and stop and give each other grace.
Man,
like we all gonna come with trauma bonds. Like shut up and if that's who you rocking with, rock with them. If you unconditional. And if you ain't loved somebody, you have not loved somebody if you are able to let go. That's not love. That's something weird. Unconditional
Wait,
love
hold tight.
Don't matter what.
Hold tight. You cooking? You done brought Detroit in the building. Stay with me. Don't leave. When we come forward, we going back to Detroit because Kenny got some things to say.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. A report says Barack Obama is telling his allies President Biden needs to seriously consider the viability of his candidacy. The Washington Post says the former black president has told associates Biden's path to victory has significantly decreased. The Post adds Obama has been working behind the scenes, taking calls from Democrats who feel anxious about Biden's future, including one with former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.